Hi everyone, LiberAnarchy here. Happy Halloween. And I have what are supposed to be Gil Slit's worst Halloween costume in the world, but cheap. Free, as a matter of fact. And, by the way, this is this is Nyarlathotep, however you want to pronounce it, one of my several Lovecraftian t-shirts. But, it's Halloween, obviously. Happy Halloween. And I wanted to kind of ramble on a little bit about horror movies. Um, I don't see much quality in horror movies lately. And I do understand, and I do enjoy the horror movies that are tongue-in-cheek. They're not supposed to be really good movies. They're supposed to be fun. They're supposed to be a bit silly, tongue-in-cheek. Last night I watched 976 Evil, old late 80s movie. You know, tongue-in-cheek, cheeseball. You're not expecting great acting. You know, you're okay with a few plot holes or, one-liners that are just far more goofy than they are witty and all that. Right, fine, that's great. I like zombie movies. I prefer shamblers to runners in the way of zombies. Um, as far as methodology of zombies, whether it's a disease or chemical or stardust or or comet dust, as in the original Night of the Living Dead, or just plain on magic like an Army of Darkness. Yeah, I don't have a preferred method, but there again, Army of Darkness. It's cheeseball. It's fun. Good, bad. I'm the guy with the gun, right? Yeah. So, I mean, I get that not all horror is supposed to be scary, but I don't see any good scary horror coming down the pipe lately. Um, I I think possibly my favorite horror movie of all time has to be The Shining. But The Shining, I mean, maybe a kid doing this with his finger, red rum, is cheeseball or something, but it was a good horror movie. It was supposed to scare you. Um, I mean, there, but right now there's not a lot of good horror. The Hellraiser movies were some of my favorites, and again, they, after about the third one, they started getting pretty cheesy, but and you kind of have to like gore. And I've always liked gore. I've always liked slasher movies. The Freddy, Jason, Halloween. I like slasher movies. I like gore. Um, in a way, I kind of grew up on this stuff. And last night, I watched a few horror movies, and I had a dream where long story short, I was hanging around with a bunch of people, and they were all talking about some of the newer horror movies that come down the pipe, and I was sort of bemoaning the fact that there's no good horror that I know of anymore. Maybe I should go into the independent films and the weird arty kind of films I don't particularly like. Um, but fuck, there are no movies anymore that really leave me with a sense of trepidation or fear. I mean, even the remake of Dawn of the Dead, the remake of it left me with a certain ickiness. Not that I thought that the zombies were real and were going to come and get me, but gosh, what if they were? I was thinking about entryways into my home, storing food, whether I would haul in or bug out, that sort of thing. And, sunrise comes along. Well, what would I do if I suddenly found out that my neighbors were going to fucking eat me? And it wasn't like I thought my neighbors were going to fucking eat me, but still, I had this sense of, well, what if something like this did happen? What would I do, right? And so I'm one of these people that gets into conversations like, well, would the mall be good and a good place to go in the event of a zombie invasion? Actually, it wouldn't be as bad as most people think. Granted, lots of douchebags are going to go to the mall. But hey, strength in numbers. Also, douchebags. Cannon fodder. You got a bunch of people with katanas that think they're going to be fucking heroes, so I can have my fucking guns. No, yeah, you go out there. You be a hero. We'll call you Ash Romero when you come back. Ash Romero. I had a role-playing character. George A. Romero tribute and Ash, not Ash from Pokemon, but from Army of Darkness. Anyway, so yeah, so yeah, I like zombies, and I would send those people. Yeah, go! You'll be a fucking hero, cannon fodder. Go! And I can just sit there back there with my gun. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, so hook me up with some good horror. I mean, Case 39 doesn't look very good. Um, Last night I watched The Exorcism of Emily Rose, and that was good, but it wasn't scary. It wasn't a horror movie, and I knew that it wasn't, and that's fine. But it was a pretty decent film. But yeah, hook me up with some good horror, please. Um, but like Paranormal 2, Case 39, all the shit that's coming out in theaters or that is out in theaters looks crappy. I'm sorry, it just looks crappy. But what are you gonna do? So I'll be here watching old bad horror movies. Lost Boys 2. No, I turned that shit off within 5 minutes. Lost Boys 2. No, you don't even try to do Lost Boys 2. Lost Boys is a movie all its own in its own class. You don't do a Lost Boys 2. And yeah, within the first 5 minutes it really sucked and I turned it off. No. Okay. So, happy Halloween, have fun trick-or-treating, dress up, go insane. This is just filler now. Do. By the way, anyone remember the movie Salem's Lot? Lots of the Stephen King novels that have been turned into horror movies are good. Like Pet Sematary, Salem's Lot, yeah. Shining, which I already mentioned, yeah. Those are good. Who remembers Salem's Lot?